this summer, actually, even before that, I have a constituent sitting to my left named Beth Cardin, who's one of my favorite and best constituents. She's a tremendous environmentalist, has been forever, and she brought to me this idea, which I thought was really interesting. I mean, she was involved in helping me with the fracking ban that was so successful last year, and brought to me this idea of a constitutional amendment for a clean environment. And I knew that we didn't have one because we had that bill that reached the floor last year dealing with lawsuits and so forth that didn't make it. But we have lots of rights enshrined in our Constitution, and I thought it was an interesting idea. And then I became more intrigued by the fact that other states have done this as well. So there are 6 states, at least that I have. Maybe there's, at least that have some Bill of Rights. So you have Hawaii, Illinois, Massachusetts, Montana, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island. But the most interesting one was Pennsylvania. So our neighboring state of Pennsylvania has this enshrined in their Constitution. I'm not sure how successful it is, just in terms of how strong it is, because obviously they're fracking the living daylights out of that place. But that being said, it's a start, and there have been some interesting court cases related to their clean environment. It gives people standing to sue under different circumstances, and some of the things that we've seen, that you guys see every day, about pipelines or oil spills or fracking for that matter, could, had we not banned it, could have potentially been, a constitutional amendment could have created standing for lawsuits on that issue. So I thought it was an interesting thing. It's obviously very complex and it's very legalese, but I thought it was a really interesting and good idea, and I thought that I would bring it to your attention and see what you all thought, and that's the bill.
Kate.
Good afternoon. My name is Maya Van Rossum. I'm the Delaware Riverkeeper, and I lead a regional organization, the Delaware Riverkeeper Network. I'm also the author of a book titled The Green Amendment, which is focused on the power and importance of constitutional recognition and protection of environmental rights in our state and federal constitutions. And both I and my organization, the Delaware Riverkeeper Network, were the lead plaintiffs in the case that breathed legal life into Pennsylvania's long-ignored environmental rights provision. That landmark case only came down in December of 2013, which is one of the reasons why you haven't seen more impact from the Environmental Rights Amendment in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania on what is happening in that state. I am very pleased to be here to support what I hope will be a historic step for the state of Maryland in recognizing and protecting the rights of the people to a healthy environment. In truth, there are 35 states that speak to the environment in their constitutions, but there are only 2 states that have what I call a green amendment, that really have the strength and the power and importance in terms of placement and language that is necessary to truly protect the environmental rights of the people of a state. What Maryland is proposing would rise to the level of what I characterize as a green amendment. As written, SB 873 properly places the environmental rights provision in the Declaration of Rights section of Maryland's Constitution, ensuring that the right to a healthy environment is given the proper recognition and protection as an inalienable human right that rises to the same level of community and constitutional importance as other fundamental rights we hold dear, such as the right to free speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, and private property rights. Enacting this amendment will ensure that the people of Maryland have, among other things, the right to drink clean water from their faucets, breathe clean air in their neighborhoods, and have their children play and grow in a community with natural resources that are free of dangerous contaminants and degradation. SB 873 provides an important opportunity to address environmental justice issues. It ensures that environmental rights are recognized as belonging to every person, thereby recognizing and protecting environmental rights equitably across the state and across communities, regardless of race, income, or past practices. The constitutional environmental right will encourage innovative development, industry, and business growth, and provide a powerful incentive for government officials to render decisions and advance businesses in ways that accomplish economic and business objectives, while at the same time protecting natural resources that are critical to sustaining healthy lives and economies. I would like to urge one critical modification to the proposed amendment with regards to standing. It is essential that the Environmental Rights Amendment be given the same respect with regards to its implementation, including standing, as the other Declaration of Rights provisions that are found in Maryland's Constitution, including that the provision be recognized as self-executing. I did provide more detailed written comments, and I provide sample language in there with regards to the standing issue that I hope would be offered as an amendment. And I just want to close by saying that I hope the committee will join Senator Zirkin in advancing SB 873, a green amendment for the people of Pennsylvania, or for the people of Maryland.
My name is Beth Cardin. I am a community rabbi from Baltimore County who has been active at the intersection of environmental and faith communities for over 10 years. And I want to add my sincere thanks to Senator Zirkin, even though he has left, for introducing SB 873, which I believe is essential to the well-being of all Marylanders. I want to highlight 4 reasons why I support this bill and ask for your support. 1, a healthy environment is a human right. This is why the amendment is designed to be placed in the Declaration of Rights, along with the political rights enumerated there. We don't need the Constitution of the State of Maryland to confer this right upon us. It is endowed upon all of us as human beings. We need the Constitution of the State of Maryland to protect these rights for us. 2, the people deserve the ability to take action for redress if this right is denied them, and if their health, lives, and well-being are harmed or threatened through environmental degradation, and this amendment will give them that right. 3, the amendment will change the ways we think. It will normalize, standardize, and otherwise make part of cultural expectations the fact that we need not and should not trade health, either personal health or environmental health, for progress. We can do better than degrading the environment as part of our standard operating procedures and the necessary price to pay for progress. That is a devil's contract that we should reject. 4th, the Constitution is a love letter that one generation writes to another. It articulates the fundamental values that one society holds above all others and bequeaths those values and the quality of life they create to future generations. With all that I support this bill, I also support and urge the change in language recommended by the Delaware Riverkeepers to strengthen the standing clause so that the amendment will be self-executing and will be afforded the same respect with regards to its implementation as other Declaration of Rights provisions. The rabbis of old, I had to get someplace there because I am a rabbi, right? So I've got to do my rabbi thing, right? The rabbis of old tell of a conversation between God and Adam in the Garden of Eden. Proud of his handiwork, God took Adam by the hand and showed him around the garden, saying, "Look at all that I have created. Look at the magnificent trees and vegetation, the animals and the rivers. See how beautiful and praiseworthy they are. They are for you. But in using them, pay attention that you do not destroy them. For if you bring devastation on the world, there will be no one left after you to repair it." Our shared task is to advance civilization and enhance individual and collective well-being. We cannot succeed in this noble calling without the preservation, health, and care of the natural world. This amendment is an essential tool in articulating this value and helping us pursue this sacred work. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman of the committee. My name is Avery Davis. I'm with a nonprofit called Interfaith Power and Light. We work in this region with 800 congregations and 10,000 people of faith across the state of Maryland, building a religious response to climate change. I'm happy to be here testifying today in support of SB 873, the constitutional amendment on the right to a healthy environment in our communities, and I urge a favorable report with the amendment that was referred to both by Maya and by Rabbi Beth Cardin. It's worth pointing out that a number of the people up here testifying are from the faith community. That's not a coincidence, and as someone who works with thousands of communities of faith throughout the state of Maryland, I know that this bill strikes to the core of what it means to be a person of faith living in this state. I see three primary reasons for this deep support among these faith communities. We have a tradition in these communities of being prophetic, people who have a bold vision for what this world can look like, and we turn that vision into action to bring the kingdom of God here to earth. This is a prophetic bill, though not the first of its kind in the nation. It transforms the way we understand and relate to the natural world, and it defends the rights of Marylanders to breathe clean air and drink clean water and live in a healthful environment. As people of faith, we believe in the inherent dignity of all life. We read in the book of Psalms that the earth is the Lord's and everything in it. We're here to act as stewards of God's world and protect all of that life. Finally, many of us live and serve in communities that are all too often at the receiving end of environmental injustice. Whether it's dirty air that causes asthma, dirty water causing cancer, or the numerous other environmental justice concerns here in our state, the folks in our congregations deserve to have the opportunity to defend themselves against those seeking profit at the expense of their lives. I urge you to listen to these voices of morality before you. We're here to make the visionary a reality to the benefit and health of all Marylanders. And as I said before, I urge the committee to make a favorable report. Thank you.
I'm Reverend Frederick K. Weimert. I am the Vice President of the Board of Central Maryland Ecumenical Council, and I'm here to speak in favor of the bill. It has been our pleasure for the past few years to work with Rabbi Cardin, with Interfaith Power and Light, but also with some students and faculty members from the University of Maryland's Law School who helped us work on this bill.
You want to help stand?
Yes, would you please stand? What I want to say is basically the Ecumenical Leaders Group, the bishops of Catholic, Episcopal, Methodist, Lutheran, many of the mainline churches stand with this legislation. We are very concerned because we recognize that it is disproportionately in the neighborhoods of the poor where dumping and burning take place. And so those people experience healthcare issues in response to that, and we believe that all people in our state, when the maglev line goes through, it's going to go through those neighborhoods. But all of our people deserve to receive the same kind of treatment and enjoy creation as we do. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senators, my name is Kobi Little, and I represent the Maryland State Conference of the NAACP. And we're here today to register our support for Senate Bill 873 and to ask for your favorable recommendation. Before I go any further, though, I would like to also go on the record in support of Senator Waugh's bill, Senate Bill 911. These are important veteran issues, and we owe it to people who put their lives on the line for our country to give them the physical and the mental health care that they need so that they can live productive lives when they return. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to say that. There is a saying in the African-American community that when America gets a cold, we get pneumonia. And that expression speaks to the health disparities that African Americans experience as a result of environmental racism, as a result of poor housing conditions, as a result of being the people who are always pushed to live in the bottom or on the wrong side of the tracks or on the backside of town. For a number of days now, we've been having a conversation about what we want Maryland to look like in the 21st century. And I've made some calls for a new constitution. short of that, this constitutional amendment goes a very long way in protecting and ensuring the rights of all Marylanders, but particularly the most vulnerable Marylanders, who are always the ones who bear the biggest brunt of the burden when there's a problem with the environment, when there's a problem with the water, when there's a problem with the air, when there's a problem with the soil. I can't tell you the exact number, but I've been testifying on a number of bills in both the House and the Senate that claw at parts of what this legislation would make happen automatically. I mean, it almost seems like it's common sense that if we have the right to the pursuit of happiness, that would include the right to clean air and clean water and an environment free of degradation, the willful degradation by people who seek to place profit over people. And that's what's so valuable about this bill, is that it speaks to the importance of humanity. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, for allowing me the opportunity to share. I know you have a long day today. We urge a favorable report.